I'd like to call the Wednesday, January 2nd, 2019 Papillion City Council meeting to order. Mr. Brown, would you please take the roll?
Sunday, Mumgard, Gaines, Glover, Jaworski, Klug, Stubbe, Ingberg.
Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. And do we have an affidavit of publication on file?
We do.
And a current copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the council chambers. We have a presentation tonight. Ms. Hanson and Mr. Huggins.
Well, about a little bit before Thanksgiving, Doug and I were invited to go out to dinner or lunch with the Humane Society execs, and we thought we were just going to have a nice little lunch. And it turned out that we were invited to their guild luncheon. And we're like, what in the heck are we doing here? We thought we had to have a chicken salad, and we thought we were gonna eat something good. Anyway, we sat there through this whole, it was decent actually, right? So we sat there through this presentation, and all of a sudden, Pam Weiss from the Humane Society comes up to the podium and asks Doug to join her. And here's what she wrote. Sometimes it's a chance encounter that leads to great collaboration, and such is the case with this year's Friends Forever Founders Award. The encounter was a question. Would you have volunteers that will show up, open beers, and help out summer concert concessions for tip money? And out of that inquiry came a relationship that has grown and benefited the Nebraska Humane Society exponentially. The Nebraska Humane Society became the standing charity for Sumter Amphitheater, with tip money exceeding $3,000 each summer. But we gained a true friend and a supporter of the shelter as well. If he's able, he's always ready to lend a hand. This benefactor has offered up his services to provide a celebratory dog-friendly cookout, complete with hayrack rides and s'mores for Yappy Pack to reward them for being the highest fundraising team for the Walk for the Animals. He stepped in to mix sound at the Dining with Dogs on the day of the event when their producer fell sick. He's offered up his contacts to provide libations and organized and run our walk beer garden since the day they started. And he's gotten his colleagues to help out as well. We appreciate every single opportunity he offers us and every donation he makes. This year's Friends Forever Founder Award goes to Doug Huggins, the manager of the Sumter Amphitheater in the city of Papillion. You know, Doug always has stepped up and gone out and raised his hand to do a lot of things for us in the community, as he's doing for a lot of other people in town. And I just wanted you guys to know that the tip money at Sumter Amphitheater is collected but not taken by our staff. The monies each year goes into a pot and given to Nancy, and at the end of the year we cut a check to the volunteers who are the recipients of that. So it's nice to be able to give back to the community. This year it was a Nebraska Humane Society and the Guitars for Vets. And they help with ushering and doing some different things out there. So, Doug, good job. I mean, it's a win-win for everybody. The collaboration is a great partnership, and we get something out of it because we don't have to hire as many people. And it's a specialized sort of volunteer necessity for us. It's not one that somebody can just pop in and do from time to time. So their loyalty, their consistency, and their willingness to show up and help us out has been great.
Their initiative in our process, we learn a lot from them.
Yep.
with their processes. So it's a win-win situation definitely for us.
Anything else you want to say?
No.
All right.
Thanks.
Good job.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
Thanks, Doug. Congratulations. Thanks for retiring for the Air Force and staying here so you could work for us.
Thanks for the job.
Thanks again. Congratulations. Ms. Powers, Administrator's Report, please.
I have just a couple quick things. First, I want to congratulate the library board, the library director Becky Sims, and then the library employees for Sump Memorial Library receiving the gold level reaccreditation for the next 3 years through December of 2021 from the Nebraska Library Commission. The gold level is the highest level awarded to libraries, and of the 295 libraries in the state of Nebraska that participate in the program, only 40 libraries have attained the gold level status. So thank you to the library board, Becky, and her team for making Sump Memorial Library a great asset to our community. Also, just to let you know, since opening in November, the Papillion Landing Fieldhouse is seeing a lot of activity in public use. Outside of the scheduled practices, there are roughly 75 people each day that are either walking around the perimeter of the field house or dropping in to play soccer or another sport on the turf. And in case you're curious, 1 mile is 6.5 times around the perimeter. And for anyone that doesn't know, the field house has free walking times Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And additionally, public drop-ins for use of the indoor turf are from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. also Monday through Friday, and that is $5 per person. And again, thank you, Lori, and your team for all that you're doing to promote the field house and for finding unique ways to make it accessible to as many people as possible. Thanks. And then for an update on the downtown redevelopment project, the city did receive 4 proposals. We're following up with those proposals this month in January, getting additional information for those. And then we will have the Selection Advisory Committee go through those and rank them, and then have the LCRA committee meet in February to review the 4 proposals and then submit those to the council. And during that process, also do the interviews of those proposals, the top proposals, before moving forward with the project on that. And then lastly, for those that signed up for the Facebook tour on Friday, I know Councilmember Glover, you had asked, we're going to meet here at City Hall in the east parking lot at 2, and we'll take the rec bus down there, and we'll just all go as a group. We'll just drive down there together. We'll leave around 2:10, and if you are signed up, make sure you bring your ID to that. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is the consent agenda. We've got requests to pull both items C4 and C5. So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda other than C4 and C5? Motion. Motion by Councilman Klug. Second by Councilman Gaines. Do we have any proponents? Any opponents? Council discussion? Please vote on everything except C4 and 5.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Next is item C4, Resolution R19-0001, a resolution to approve a memorandum of understanding with the City of La Vista for shared maintenance of Giles Road. Councilman Sunday wanted it pulled. I believe you have a question for Mr. Thompson.
Driving along that stretch of road between 66 and...
Oh, I'm sorry. Point of order real quick. I forgot to ask for the motion on C4. Motion. Second. Motion and second. Council discussion. Go ahead.
I've driven along that roadway, Giles Road, all the way from 66 all the way out to Portal. Other than the major artery roadways, 72nd, 84th, 96th, 108th, there's only 2 intersections along that roadway that have alternating red-green lights. One would be 73rd Plaza, which seems necessary with the heavy traffic in and out of those shopping areas. The other one is Edgewood Boulevard. That's the roadway on the other side of 84th Street that goes to the middle school there in La Vista. That one alternates red and green 24/7, 7 days a week. Is there any reason that you know of, Mr. Thompson, other than that school, why that's necessary at that location, say, as opposed to a blinking yellow for Giles and a blinking red for Edgewood?
I'm not real certain on the history of that signal. I know La Vista is in control of that location. We can certainly coordinate a traffic impact study at that intersection with La Vista to find out what the actual needs are, what peak times are for that traffic signal, to see if there's some adjustments that could be made. Again, I don't know the history, if those are interconnected with the other intersections and they talk to one another on a routine basis to help traffic flow. Those are really all in La Vista's jurisdiction, but we can look into that for you.
Sure. Thank you. I know, and I'm not the only one. I know I've had people mention this to me too, and I agree with it. It does seem to hurt the traffic flow along there, and it doesn't seem to be necessary at all times. Certainly probably during school hours, but other than that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Mumgard.
Well, okay, Mr. Thompson, you said something that raised my curiosity. You said that La Vista is in control of that intersection. That means they get to decide whether there's a light there or not, correct?
Not necessarily whether there's a light there or not. I'm assuming at one point or another a traffic signal warrant study was done to determine whether or not a traffic signal at that location would be warranted, which are based on federal and state standards that is common practice for most intersections and control measures.
Well, okay, we're asked tonight to approve an agreement with La Vista on the joint maintenance of that road. Is there going to be anything in this contract that would then prevent us from bringing back that issue about the street light in the future? Long and short of it, should we delay deciding this issue today so that we still have some further opportunities and options with regard to Councilman Sunday's request?
I guess that'd be a decision that the council would have to make. I don't see this precluding us from making that request to La Vista. We have a great working relationship with them and their public works department. This is strictly for maintenance. It's not necessarily for installation or removal of a signal. It's just strictly outlining, who takes care of what. We've got an unwritten agreement, so to speak, a gentleman's agreement at this point on who takes care of what. La Vista's city engineer is retiring this coming year, and they'd asked that we start to kind of codify some of this stuff so it's not left for interpretation in the future.
Okay, so if we decide that something really does, in our view, something should be done with that signal, we will have the opportunity to bring it back up and take a vote or do whatever's necessary.
I guess I'm not real sure if we'd have an opportunity to vote on it. We certainly, La Vista owns it, they operate it, they maintain it. If I remember correctly, the city limit lines is split 50-50 there, and so it'd probably be an interlocal agreement of some sort, I would suspect, and some cost participation I would suspect that they would request if we were to make any kind of physical modifications to that intersection.
You can take away a question, do some research on the history, though. So if they do want to change something, then we'd have some background to do that.
Okay, well, that I'm satisfied. We can go vote on this, and then you go ahead and give us our guidance, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Understood.
Any other council discussion? Do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? If not, please vote on item C4.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Next is item C5, Resolution R19-0002. A resolution to award the bid for water treatment plant standby power electrical upgrade to Muth Electric of Mitchell, South Dakota in the amount of $435,307. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R19-0002? Motion by Councilman Ingberg, second by Councilman Stube. Do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? Council discussion, Mr. Glover.
Yeah, Mayor, I asked to have this pulled off. It's a substantial amount of money, and I just thought maybe we could ask Jeff to do a quick overview of what's going to happen there. And then I had a question on whether there would be any disruption of service in that 6-month period that it was going to take to do this project.
Okay. Well, I can do it too. Either way, When the water treatment plant, of course, we've owned and operated our own plant for a long time, and so there's portions of it are old, it's been added onto, and it was expanded. Just like with anything that's expanded that way, you can sometimes think of the internal systems and what that does, and some of the electrical systems, some of it's old, some of it's been added onto. What was found, and actually was a good thing that happened, I think, is in the storm we had Father's Day weekend of 17, where OPPD had the major outages for a week all the way down to Hawaiian Village. The water treatment plant was in the midst of that hard down area for the 7 days. Thankfully, we had good plans in place, and we got great crews, and the water plant never went out of service. We were able to get generators out there. But to get the generators in and get it fully operational did take a little bit of rigging to do. The system wasn't necessarily designed for a hard backup system for that long period of time because of all the add-ons. What this is really doing is upgrading the electrical system so we have a good permanent emergency long-term standby. So that's kind of what the scope of the project is. And then part of it with the cost, if you remember, we bid this one other time and we only had one bidder. And it's been told, just because of all the large industrial manufacturing projects that are going on in the area, the data centers and all that, there's not a lot of electricians bidding on work right now. We did rebid and we got the second one, and it came in close to budget, but that's the real quick. Did I miss anything, Jeff?
Nope, that's a pretty good summary.
Okay.
There will be a really short window of time. It won't disrupt our operations as far as producing water. We've got plenty of storage in town to be able to serve and provide the citizens, but there will be a short window of time where hard power will have to get cut so that they can make the connections to the emergency power, but it shouldn't disrupt any type of production.
Any other questions? Mr. Gaines.
I just had a quick question. How long will the new system be able to provide power? And then the second question is, do you know what the cost of bringing all those generators in 2017 was?
Cost was negligible. It was more or less staff time. We have a portable generator at the South Booster Station, so we were able to disconnect that system from some of the equipment that wasn't actually necessary at that booster station and bring that out to the water plant. Had to hire an electrician to come in and actually hardwire that to some of the equipment, but it was really negligible as far as cost goes.
How long will the new system be able to sustain a power outage for?
As long as we can get fuel deliveries, diesel fuel deliveries, we should be able to run in perpetuity, given no failures to any of the mechanical system itself, but it should be able to run for an extended period of time.
And this solution keeps the entire plant operating during that time, where the previous kludged, for lack of a better word, just kept very critical components. And it was probably day by day if we were going to have water restrictions or not. Those worries would be gone with this solution. Thank you. You're welcome. Any other questions? If not, please vote.
Eight yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Next is item D1, Ordinance 1827, an ordinance to approve an amendment to the 2018-2019 fiscal budget. Is there a council member that will introduce? Introduced by Councilman Klug. Item D2, Ordinance 1828, an ordinance to approve a change of zone from AG agricultural to R4 multifamily residential and MU mixed use for the property legally described as a tract of land being part of the southeast quarter of Section 31, Township 14 North, Range 12 east of the 6 p.m., Sarpy County, Nebraska, generally located northwest of 120th Street and Schramm Road. The applicant is Ashbury Hills Development, LLC. Is there a council member that will introduce? Introduced by Councilman Glover. Item D3, Ordinance 1829, an ordinance to approve a change of zone from agricultural AG to R4 multifamily residential for the property legally described as the west half of the northwest quarter of Section 29, Township 14 North, Range 12 East of the 6 p.m. Sarpy County, Nebraska, generally located northwest of 117th Street and Lincoln Road. The applicant is Pinecrest Homes, LLC. Is there a council member that will introduce? Introduced by Councilman Stubbe. Item D4, Ordinance 1830, an ordinance to approve a change of zone from R4 multifamily residential to R4 PUD2 multifamily residential specific planned unit development for the property legally described as Lot 123 Lincoln Way, generally located on the northwest corner of South 96th Street and Lincoln Road. The applicant is SB Communities LLC, the Sterling Apartments. Is there a council member that will introduce? Introduced by Councilman Stubbe. Nothing for second reading. Item F1, Resolution R19-0003. This is a public hearing and a vote. A resolution to approve a large project special use permit for the property legally described as attractive land located in part of the southeast quarter of Section 24, Township 14 North, Range 11 east of the 6 p.m., Sarpy County, Nebraska, generally located on the northwest corner of South 132nd Street and Cornhusker Road. The applicant is Tribido LLC, I-80 Logistics Hub. This is a public hearing. I'll open the public hearing. Do we have any proponents? If you'd state your name for the record.
My name is Kyle Hazy with E&A Consulting Group, 10909 Mill Valley Road, Suite 100, representing the applicant, Tribido LLC. The area of discussion is as shown on this map. This is Cornhusker Road and 132nd. It's in the northwest corner. Prairie Queen Reservoir is there to the east. We are requesting a large project special use permit. The area is currently zoned LI. We are sticking with that LI zoning. The reason for the large project special use permit is because the project is over 30 acres in size. It is approximately 142.5, and the overall square footage for the property to be built exceeds the 400,000 square foot limit that kicks in the special use permit requirement. This project will be proposed to be divided into 7 lots. We currently show the possibility of 1.9 million square feet of industrial use. This is part of a go-ready site, trying to get it ready and up and going when there is a large industrial users that want to bring their business to Papillion. The site is divided by this waterway through the middle that runs from the southwest corner to the northeast corner, kind of dividing the project into two different sides. We will be extending, I think it's south 135th Street, connecting that to the north side of the project to the existing road to the west.
Thank you very much. Any other proponents? Do we have any opponents? Close the public hearing. Do we have a motion to approve resolution R19-0003? Motion by Councilman Ingberg. Second by Councilwoman Klug. Any council discussion? I just want to follow up on one comment. You mentioned that it's working on Go Ready. Is it actually getting certified Go Ready? Do you know?
I do not know for sure at this time.
Okay, and mainly just for education, because we got a lot of people that watch this online, and that's a fairly new concept in Sarpy County. Sarpy County Economic Development Corporation came up with an idea, I don't know, about 5 years ago. We were being passed over on some large projects because by the time somebody's doing a national or regional search for land, by the time they get the purchase agreement, go through the whole entitlement process, all the zoning, figuring out the roads, the engineering, the water issues, everything in that. That could be a multi-year process. And they're doing site selection, eliminating sites, and that amount of time and expense, we were being passed over and over and over because there were other sites where they were already ready for development. So Sarpy County Economic Development came up with the concept of actually certifying sites as go-ready. Which means they would do a lot of work up front with the applicant, the landowner, and Sarpy EDC to get the entitlements, do a lot of the engineering, do a lot of the water issues, and have all those answers in hand, and they'd actually certify it go-ready. So now when somebody's doing a national search, they say, you have any sites? And they'll say, yep, and here's exactly what it takes to get it to win that site, and that's why we got Facebook. And there's only a couple of other sites in Sarpy County that are actually go-ready certified. So I didn't want to take your comment and just let it pass. It's a really important concept, and this will give us another go-ready site if it does get certified, and if not, at least it's a step towards it. So thanks for the chance to educate. Mr. Mungard.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that you're bringing us something that is going to be very valuable to the community and which fits into a discussion that I've seen on social media. We have Facebook, a large data center. We have just recently approved another large data center. I saw on social media some discussions about, well, why are we having all these large data centers? They don't employ people. Save that land for opportunities for people who will be employed, 1,000, stuff like that. Well, I look at this. I look at several others along there, Thrasher, several of those even further south along Highway 50. That discussion is not entirely wrong, that in our planning process, we do want to have a lot of different opportunities, a lot of different developments. We do want to have employment out here. I just want to point out that, yes, this is an example of that other side of that coin. And I'm really glad to see it coming up at this time. I hope it succeeds beyond our wildest imagination because, yes, it does create a balance in our community that is a legitimate balance that we ought to strive for. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any other council discussion? If not, please vote.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Thank you again. It's all the regular agenda items, and I don't believe any committees met over the last couple of weeks. We have any comments from the floor? We got a scout with us. You want to come up and introduce yourself? I don't think he really does, but let us know what your name is and what troop you're with.
My name is Cade Nash, and I'm in from Trump 888, and I'm observing the city council meeting so that I can get a requirement done for citizenship in the community.
Thank you very much. And if you need to visit with anybody, either Ms. Kluk or myself would stay afterwards and visit with you if you need to. Any other comments from the floor? Any council comments? Just really just a couple of things from the last couple of weeks. I've had some DARE graduations. Those are always fun. And Chief, thanks again for everything you do there. And then the county also had some retirements. I think there were 4 different individuals retired. If I remember right, they said it was something like 120 years of tenure retired at the county. Treasurer and a couple of others. If you have not seen it, the annual report has been mailed. I know it showed up at my house on just before the 1st, so I've already had some people reach out and thank us for the information that's in there. So if you get any questions or anything needs clarified, reach out. And then just again, the reminder of the Facebook tour. We'll meet up here at 2 o'clock and get on the bus and go. Any other council comments? If not, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Councilman Glover, second by Councilman Gaines. Please vote.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
We are adjourned.